Just remind you that, because if there wasn't here, that I'm recording our meetings.
Okay, it is 6:30. I call tonight's meeting of the Dalton Selectboard to order. We have our new member. And you've been sworn in, correct? The first order of business is for the new board is to select the chair.
I make a motion that Eric be chair this year.
I second it.
Any discussion on that?
I will from experience, it's very hard without experience on the board to be chair. And before you've had a chance to take some of the NHMA training and understand how things go.
I figured, you'll probably help them out a little bit. You had to learn, we all have to learn, so.
So we have a motion on the table to nominate Eric as the chair. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Gonna pick a conservation commission.
I'll take the conservation commission.
I'll second it. I'll do the planning board.
Second that.
We have to have, don't we have to have a vote?
I make a motion that Eric takes the planning board.
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, I think we have to do the vote on the Conservation Commission first.
Tom.
I second that.
So then you have to call a vote for the board, for the entire board to vote.
All in favor?
All in favor?
So what are we're voting now on Tom being the liaison for the conservation commission?
Yes. And I that.
No.
I make a motion that Eric take the planning.
I'll second it. Vote on the table?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
I'm sorry, who made the motion for Tom to be on the Conservation
I did.
Commission? Thank you.
I'd like to introduce another selectman, myself. Those were the sign the checks.
Yes, there's one thing that we should do initially, while we have some people here. We have a letter from Bob. read it? So everybody knows what we're talking about. Here's select board, I'm writing to let you know that I'm resigning from my job as road agent for the town of Dalton. My last day of work will be April 5th. After working here for 30 years, I've decided it's time for me to retire and try new things. I've enjoyed my time working for the town and want to thank you for your support. I'll help make sure things go smoothly as I leave, and I'm happy to help with training my replacement if needed. Thank you for everything. Sincerely, Robert Wentworth. And I know I don't see Bob here, but I really want to express my appreciation for everything Bob has done for this town. He's done an amazing job doing the roads and keeping them plowed and keeping them maintained and running the budget. I also want to express my condolences for his family for the loss of Jessie, and she worked for this town for many, many, many years in multiple roles. And I want to express my personal condolences.
So we basically got to look for
Road agent?
We do.
And I just, in my opinion, I just feel that Bob has been grooming Adam King to run the takeover. I think I've talked to him on and off. He does a good job. He's right at it. He's not dragging his feet. And I think where Bobby's enrolled there, that he would support and help in any way that he can to make the transition smooth. So, that's my opinion on it.
I agree with him.
Yeah. We have, Mike works for them. What's your opinion, Mike? What is your opinion about?
Adam King is the best qualified person in this town to be able to handle and take care of this town for all the road needs and equipment needs. I've worked with him for almost a year, and the big thing is he can handle any situation that this town, according to the roads and everything, that we would need.
And just as a reminder, this is an elected position, so comes up for, this would be appointing Adam for the rest of the term until March.
Then he has to run.
Correct.
I make a motion that Adam King takes the position until next March, until voting time.
I'll second that.
Up to the board.
We have to vote on it. And because it's an elected position, we have to make the decision in public.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Adam, did you want the job? Nobody asked you, sorry.
Question.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
And if we can do anything to help support you and.
I will certainly do anything I can as well.
I'm sure I'm gonna volunteer Jeanette to help you with budget and all of that. And
If there's any training that you want to go to, let us know. We'll have to get to that.
the NHMA puts out a hard road to travel is the name of it, which I highly recommend you take that training.
Okay.
So, we have a road agent email, which should go to you now. And I'll forward it to you when I see one, or the chair can.
I don't have the email for it anyway.
You should be on the NHMA emails. And when you see one about the roads, you can forward it to Adam.
Just that.
I'll give you
Yeah, or if it doesn't, then call type Bob's and it will come out. No, that ain't right.
Well,
You'll have to put his address in there.
Question? Have we now created a vacancy in the highway department for a new hire?
We have.
So I think,
Sorry, I was gonna go for a division.
well, it's, it's habit, work it out.
Yes. Going to be filling his position and the add one.
So we should
I
have,
believe they should
have three,
three full timers.
no, I mean, three people, some people come in with, the interview.
I'm sorry, I wanna get clarification on what you said. Are we just filling Adam's position now that he's road agent, or we're filling Adam's position and adding a position?
We're just filling ads for now.
Okay. I wanna make sure, thank you.
So what you're proposing is
Oh,
that you want
Yes,
to
I'd like to create a job,
post the position?
yes.
We looked at it last year and we had a position description. Do we want to look at that again? Or do you want me to?
I'd like to look at it again.
I'll send it to you.
So then if we're gonna wait, then we won't make a decision until next
Right.
meeting?
Right.
Thank you very much for coming, Adam, and Mike, you're welcome to stay.
He's not authorized yet.
But he can look.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
Eric is not
that's what that
authorized to
paperwork
sign,
is.
so,
Here's the papers from the bank.
Yes.
To sign
yes,
I
we
can,
wanna do that first, and he's still not authorized to sign yet.
until the bank approves.
Correct. So, page 1 and page 3, we each need to sign.
All of it?
Yes. You need to sign here. You signed under where you print, you need to sign over here on the signature line.
Adam, while we're doing that, can you, well, before Bob's last day, check on the, bridge funding that we received from the state?
Yep.
And see where we are, and then, because I think there's a timeline for spending that.
There is. I planned on getting a hold of Pike and Central and all them having them come look, give a bid on doing the bridges.
Can we speak a little louder?
It's gotta be done this summer, so I have plans of getting a hold of Pike and Central and all them other guys, the contractors, have them come take a look at it and give us a quote
Yeah.
on how much they can, what they can do.
Okay,
And, I know, I think it's 51,000 is what we got for the bridges to reface them.
and are we looking at the bridge on Faraway Road?
Both French and Farway.
Faraway, okay. Thank you. These are the signatures.
Yes.
So you can't sign anything, yeah.
It's not fun.
We can use time sheets.
Okay.
Part of the old business, I weren't here. I weren't here for any of the old business.
True. We still have, there's those things that we have to do.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot to sign. Here's the, closed landfill report. We received it Friday afternoon. That needs to be signed on page, I think, 5.
What is that? Is that the status of that, the closed landfill is up?
It's the annual report required to be submitted to DES March 31st of each year. We have engineers that do the reports for us.
But it's for the closed one, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that this probably has to go to Adam, to make sure that, three of these things are carried forward. For the report, because they're telling us that the landfill sites need to be ordered and posted. And methane monitors will be addressed as required in the post-closure plan. And, cap settlement survey, town will address. Well, this, Adam's not to address those things, right? This is all new to me, so I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, and this is a routine report that we normally just file with DES.
Right, but if they're telling us to do things, we're gonna have to do it, or we'll end up.
So we could give a copy to Adam,
Yeah, because won't we get fined if we don't abide by their rules?
but we need to sign it and submit it tonight.
Yeah. And they got, this is online, coming online.
It'll be online eventually.
Yeah, I want a copy of this sent to me if you would, please.
Sure. But it'll be available on NHS's DES One Stop as well. They post it online, but we have to get it back to them to sign in order for them to do that.
No, that's all fine, Dandy, I just wanna keep up on it, that we do our part, that's all.
Yep.
Where's the signature gonna be done here?
Page 5 or 6 in the very beginning. It's at the end of that report that you're looking at right there. It's on the back side of one of those pages.
Probably at the end of the report. And there may only be one signature, so they'll maybe be the chair.
Correct. There's only one signature. Fiscal permit. You need to sign the actual permit. It didn't go through, did you sign the yellow copy? Just with your pen is fine, it just didn't go through all the way, because it's one of a rollerball. That way it shows the signature, thank you. We have 5 notice of intent to excavate.
You need a signature on all of them, yes?
All, you need to sign all of them, yes. MS 232.
Does Mr. Bethia come here to get those, to fill those out?
No, he mailed them.
Where does he get those, to get through, the state?
You can get them online.
I make a motion that we sign and approve the MS 232 to be submitted to the IRS.
What is the MS 232?
It is the appropriation, so it's what was approved at the town meeting.
Does that have anything to do with the audit?
No, this is just the appropriation that was approved at town meeting.
I'm seeing that the capital outlay on the budget was hundred and some odd thousand, now it's zero. Explain that to me.
Doesn't have anything to do with the budget. That's the actual appropriations that were voted for on town. Capital outlay isn't included in the budget. It comes out of capital reserve funds. Those are the appropriations that make up the budget that was approved at the town meeting. Capital outlay isn't included as part of that.
Those were, the money into capital reserves were separate warrant articles. Do you want to look at the appropriation that was approved?
No, 'cause I can pretty much remember that part of it, but the other part is I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but the personal administration part, it went through with retirement in there. It also went through with a 10% raise that didn't come across the board. And I have to ask the question too, I'm not opposed to people getting raises, but we gotta do it legally. So did the fire marshal get a raise as well on this?
Fire marshal.
I mean,
Fire chief?
fire chief.
No.
No.
No, the raises were discussed when we were doing the budget, when we were preparing the budget at the end of last year, and we went over each budget line by line, where it was last year and where we proposed for it to be for 2024.
The 10% was not discussed with the board.
Yes, sir, it was. We discussed it multiple times during the budget meetings, working session and the budget meeting.
And the bottom line is, this is the budget that was voted on by the town and approved. So this is just a requirement, it's basically just certifying that the town had approved this.
How quick do they need this?
Excuse me?
How quick do they need this?
It's due within 20 days of the date of the town meeting. So it's due tomorrow. Today, actually. Is that 20 days? Tomorrow. Today, it's today or tomorrow, yeah.
I don't know what to do. But anyways,
All that report does, just so I can clarify, what that report does is it confirms the appropriations that were voted on during town meeting. That's what that report is.
in all due respect, from here on out, I would like to see it at least a week and a half, 2 weeks prior to, so we have time to look things over. Yeah, I don't like to sign things on the spur of the moment.
These are the same numbers
I
that
know
we
they
looked
are.
at since the end of last year.
I'm asking respectfully
Okay,
if we can do that.
no problem.
I'm not trying to be a jerk about it.
It's fine.
That's what I need.
It's fine. fine. It was one of those things that's just required by DRA. It's just another recap of numbers.
So do we need a motion for this?
You motioned already.
So we didn't have
I
a second.
second it.
So do you
You
want to
did
vote?
now.
So do you want to vote?
One vote,
Well, you're the chair. You
Yeah.
get to call the vote.
one vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting minutes for March 11th.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 11th.
I'm on here. I wasn't up here, so I don't know.
I'm not gonna second that yet, and again, respectfully, I know when we was talking, wasn't yelling at you, I was saying, I was telling you not to interrupt, I wasn't hollering and screaming, just like Diane wasn't hollering, and that yelled, Tom yelled, it has to come off there, because I didn't yell at you.
You did yell.
I got it right there, I can say it again.
Sure, no problem. You did yell. You yelled, and then Jo Beth said enough, and then you yelled at Jo Beth. But we can say you raised your voice.
We can
We can,
modify that.
whatever, Tom. It doesn't matter.
Well, I don't recall yelling either, so I'm just curious about that. I got yelled at, you yelled at me, but I don't recall.
You were
yelling.
speaking, and what I said was, this is a working session, and you looked at me and said, I know, Jeanette, and then I said, because you were speaking
I
out
don't
of
believe
turn.
that's the way that it went.
That is how it went. I can remember like it was an hour ago, but it's okay.
I just think that, you know, if you're gonna put wording in there, then say that you yelled too, and leave mine in there, that's fine. You can say that I yelled, but you yelled.
I didn't say that you yelled, I said he yelled.
Okay.
So we could have Diane Lyon voice comments, and we could have,
That's a respectful thing to do.
are we in agreement on that? If Tom asked Jeanette,
That wasn't an ask. Sorry.
And didn't ask her, I told her to stop interrupting, but I wasn't yelling.
Okay. Tom asked for that.
As told, whatever told. I told her to stop interrupting.
Do you have any others? No, you're the chair.
I weren't here, so I
No,
don't.
so I second it.
So with the modifications we discussed.
Yes.
Even though you weren't here, you're the chair, you could serve on the vote.
We, so, get a vote.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Sign it.
And just noting the modifications noted.
Meeting minutes for March 18th.
All right, very much.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes for March 18th.
I second it. Vote on favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. was at the last board.
Non-public meeting minutes from the 18th.
I make a motion that we approve the non-public meeting minutes from March 18th.
Okay.
Vote on the table.
And other companies that will be out there for people to use.
I know Spectrum's knocking on doors.
Yes, and currently that is not the fiber optic that's going on. Any of the wiring that we're seeing right now, it's not the fiber optic that's going into play under this grant program.
Oh, so Spectrum's running wire.
It could be them putting in their extended wiring, but it's not the fiber optic with the grant money.
That's
Because
not
I
a
asked
correct
about
statement.
that.
It is fiber optic, they came to my.
No, that's not what I said. I said it's not the grant money fiber
Oh, the
optic
grant
that's
one.
being put into play.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can all have it.
Spectrum is put in.
So, because they're trying to get people signed into contracts, I wonder how we get the word out that.
Yeah, I was wondering about the same
Excuse
thing.
me, can
Sorry.
we?
Yep.
I'm sorry, you
No, it was the same thing, Jo Beth. I was just trying to hear better what you were saying, because I think you were.
This is the piece where what the town can do is put this information up on the website, turn around and have it posted for people, the web link that I provided, okay? For them to log in, sign up and say, yes, we're looking to see fiber optic coming to our house. And it's all part of the grant program. These funds have already been paid, 40 million that's being invested in this. That's the portion that Consolidated is doing.
And we can make it clear that you don't have to sign up for service at this time.
Right, this is
That
just
would
to
be-
get this, it's not gonna cost them anything, and they're not being obligated to a contract.
And then, when it's all connected through this program, then they'll have the option of going with different providers to actually get the internet connection, correct? Like Spectrum or Consolidated or
Right.
Fidium.
They just wanna make sure that people are aware that this has already been covered, and they are putting this in. But the other piece is, by signing up, it also helps to push us up front, because, they're gonna put who's signing up and everything. They'll get those areas that are demanding for the service online as fast as they can. As you can see, they weren't even thinking Gorham and Berlin area would be finished until probably May. Right now, it's looking like they'll be done in 2 weeks. So,
I think we should definitely put something up on the website, but I'm
This
thinking,
is
are there
good.
articles going out in the paper telling people to do any of this?
every area is different, and that's why every one of the representatives that was at the meeting is going back to their towns to give them advice in regards to what they need to do. Representing Dalton, I wanted to make sure I gave everything to you guys. I also reached back out. We were supposed to have some notes in the E911 letter. That's not ready yet. I'll be getting that Wednesday. They confirmed that just before I was leaving for this meeting. Now, in regards to it, the best thing is providing the link on the website and just putting the little blurb that I've got down there in regards to it, that this is a recommendation if you want to see about this. The previous sections to that second to last page is the definitions and resources so that people can understand exactly each of these different types of services, what they actually provide you in broadband with and everything else, because it changes based on the product that's being provided, which is why we're so eligible for this program and why we got so many homes already covered with this $40 million grant fund.
Residents have to pay to hook up though, is that right?
No.
No?
No, the fiber to the house is all part of the install. Your piece will be when you choose the company and you go with that. That piece is where whatever they're offering you, you need to read it carefully, see what the contract is, what they're charging you. And make sure you do your due diligence, and if people have questions, we can set it up for them to reach out to me, and I'll get the answers through the committee. It's not a problem.
Well, am I right, Kathy, that prior to this, a lot of these houses could only get like dish, you had to have a dish.
Right, that's
And
why
that's what
we're not.
they're doing, they're bringing this to those houses.
Yeah, they're bringing it to, a lot of Dalton has dial-up,
Yeah.
or they have the stationary wireless, as they call it, or radio frequency. Some areas, because of recent changes a few years back, have cable going along the main road of 142 and 135. When that happened, it brought DSL up to some of us that were up on the mountain. But the government requirements to meet, not a lot of those services don't come close to what fiber optic is going to bring. And there's all different variations in regards to it, which everybody has to know and understand. So it's making sure everybody's informed and knows, here's the options, and you don't have to sign a contract now in regards to it all.
Certainly. I think the best way to reach everybody in Dalton is to send out a flyer. People don't bother going to the website. They don't. And through different activities on my own and other people, I think the best coverage you're gonna get for reaching everybody is to send out a mailer.
Are other towns doing that? Can we piggyback on at least the design of a mailer?
Right now, I don't know if any of the other towns are doing that. Like I said, everybody is reporting right now. The other towns over on the eastern part of Coas County, they did it through their website, through their word of mouth, and meetings like this where they're getting the information out to everybody and making sure they're aware of what's going on. So the other piece is I can check to see if maybe something as simple as a news article, putting that into the local paper. But not everybody gets the paper, so it's finding the best way to get the message out to everybody.
That's why I said it's a flyer to every mailbox. You're getting every household. If they choose to put it in the trash, that's their choice, but at least the town made the effort to contact every single household in Dalton.
And you'll need to look at that cost, because that's gonna be a cost you'll have to incur. Okay,
A
so
couple
what is that?
$100, $300-$400.
Yeah, so, and I would probably recommend a postcard version.
So,
Yep.
tax bills are going out in June, that's too late. It's,
Oh, good idea.
Put it in the
You
tax
could,
bill.
you can't.
yeah,
The only things you can put in tax bills are things about taxes.
has to be separated. Recommend a postcard with the information and maybe how, to contact me with, questions. So we could put a postcard together and do something like that. And I'll double check with Carol Miller, who's the chair over this committee, and see what else they can help out with in regards to getting the message out to everybody.
Because it seems like, you could draft something, but it would be good to have somebody else look at it from just making sure it's understandable and clear and
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah,
But
you want to
like
just
we
be
should not,
simplistic, no over-explaining, no overwhelming. Would probably be the best route.
My question when I started, Jo Beth, when I first interrupted you, sorry, was that Spectrum is already going around knocking on doors. And when they came to my house, they said, the fiber optics that we already put in, that's what they were there to talk to me about. And I'm just pointing that out because I'm not the only person, I'm sure. They knocked on my door at 7:15 at night. And, they've been to other people's houses. I don't have a problem with that. But if people don't know what's even going on, like this is, I knew because I had talked to the consolidated people, so I knew something was going on there.
Yeah, and I made the committee aware of Spectrum because they came to our property. And, and I
It's a
told them.
hard sell, but you don't get free wireless, or free, cell phones, that's what you said. You don't get free cell phone service.
Well, I don't know in regards to anything like that,
I'm
but
just saying,
it's,
I don't wanna call it an aggressive sales pitch, but it's pretty convincing to people who wouldn't otherwise, maybe look at Spectrum. So.
right. So The best piece is getting the information out quickly to everybody and letting them know you do not need to obligate yourself to any kind of contract or anything. Just sign up that you want to see that fiber optic does get to your area, and of course, us getting that 911 letter out requesting the additional information, so we're getting all of the households. And I will have that by Wednesday
What's the turnaround time for that?
for getting the letters out.
For getting the 911 letters out?
I'm supposed to get that Wednesday, so as soon as I have that, I can work with Jeanette if it's agreeable to all of you, and we'll have it on letterhead for the next time you meet, so that you can sign that and send it in.
So 2 weeks is
Whatever time period you have for your meetings. I just wanted to make sure I got this to you guys as soon as I was asked to do it.
Yeah. Does anybody wanna kinda like check in to see what it would cost to, do a bunch of flyers? Cause I think it's that due diligence to let everybody know. You know, if it's too much, then we'll discuss it, but I mean, it ain't gonna hurt to at least find out what it costs to send out some flyers.
So if you just send out a flyer for your campaign, what was the cost on that?
You'd have to ask the group.
Well, Jo Beth, we did them for, the police thing.
And I think that was like pretty high, that was like $700 or $800, and you can get them less than that.
Yeah, I thought so too,
It
okay.
wasn't $700-800 for the police.
Yes, it was six something. It was, it
Oh,
was,
wow.
ended up being
Yeah,
like
you're right, that's the
658
record.
or something like
So
that.
one of the things is, I think, how you deal with the graphics and how many revisions there are, I think we could do it a lot less than that.
In regards to it, I can get help from them at least on the information we provide on a postcard type deal. And I will check on the prices and get back to you within the week. Because usually those vary according to how you do it. If you could do it through the US Postal Office so that it hits every residence in Dalton. And if you do it that way, it's less expensive than if it were directed to a specific name and address. You want to hit all of the homes that are in the town in regards to it. And at least let them know, here's what's coming down. And, you know, if you want to see fiber optic, you know, make sure you're signing up for it, because that's the portion from the lines to the house that they're talking about.
How many emails of town residents does the town have? Because you could send out an email to as many as you have, and then tell those people to tell their neighbors.
I don't know
And
that
that
you
way you
have
can
that
get it out
large.
really quick.
You don't have that large of an email list. It's only the people that have been making any kind of request, which I don't think that has been very high at all.
Could go into junk too.
Would the grant maybe fund any of this? Could we check with whoever's?
Yeah, I'm gonna check to see if they can provide help, but,
Yeah.
you know, beyond what's already gone on, the funds have already been paid out for everything to go up, but I'll find out if there's help in regards to getting the message out. And, you know, we'll find a way to get it done where it's not gonna be expensive, so that we let everybody know. Okay? And like I said, the beginning pages are
Do you need
more
like
about
the
the
chair to
definitions.
start drafting a flyer?
I would say, let me work with the committee to create it this week. I'll try to have that done by Friday. Because I think they have the best way to put the information out, seeing as how they are overseeing it throughout the whole Coas County area. Consolidated Communications is the ones working in this area, but there are others that are working up in the northern part of Coas County that are almost done also, up in the Coldbrook and Pittsburgh area and stuff. So there are ways that they know they want to have this put out. So let me do a quick check and then I'll email back to you so that you know what's going on.
I just one more question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know nothing about fiber optic.
Yeah.
Is that what brings in your television shows and emails and all that stuff?
This fiber optic is, what am I gonna, I'm gonna turn around and direct you to a particular page point on what I gave you. All right? It's gonna be where it says fiber as a future-proof technology. I think you were just there, back up one more page. Right in through here. It's going to let you know what it is fiber optic improves data access as far as putting it across and getting it from one place to another. It's at a much higher level than you could imagine with DSL, copper, wireless, etc. That's why they didn't even consider places like Netify or the DSL service as being even adequate for broadband, okay? And some of these pieces go up to 2 gigabytes for processing speed. And my husband was overseas in South Korea. And let's just say, it looked like he was typing much faster than me, because I would have a full page before I finished my first sentence from our end.
Wow.
And they had apologized for their speed being slow, because they were only at 1 gig and not up to the 2 gig. So the processing is much better, much more accurate, and as it grows, you can put more on it. Unlike some of the other services where when it gets shared, you start to drop service, and it gets sketchy, and it's not as good as it was when you first got it. So it's the biggest and best improvement for everybody. Anything else?
Nothing there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Justice will be when it's gone. That's the next one.
Yeah.
Removing the asbestos floor tile on the building and replacing it with a vinyl plank tile. It was voted on previously. We sent the deposit and the order of acknowledgements to the flooring company and the abatement company. There's not really another update. I mean, I'm just answering your question.
I weren't here, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's all I have. I mean, that's just the Reader's Digest version of it.
So the plan is to remove the asbestos,
Yes, it
not
is.
just go over it?
No, it's to remove it.
Why? Why not just go over it? Seal it in?
I think we've talked about this for almost a year. So just putting vinyl plank tile over the tile and the
The
mastic
existing asbestos, yeah?
does not necessarily seal it. And it can still crack. If a tile has to be taken up to be replaced, then you're exposing it again. So it needs to be removed eventually. You couldn't demo the building or do any flooring renovations if you had a plumbing issue and you had to.
It's true.
So it's being removed and then new flooring is being put down.
Selectman Moore, can I ask Jeanette a question? How many complaints did you get on the floor? Were people getting sick or?
No, Pam, people weren't getting sick.
Okay.
But
why are we doing
there
this?
have been complaints about the floor. It's chipping, it's cracking,
But
it's not
didn't you have
safe.
a test done?
Yes, I did have a
Everywhere?
test done. Yes, we did have testing
Okay,
done.
and what was the answer to that? I mean, what was the
They
evaluation?
confirmed as we went through the report, when Skip from GEM was here,
Yep.
we went through the report and he confirmed the materials that were asbestos containing.
Yes. And
Yes.
what's the toxicity level?
The toxicity level of
Well-
what?
Okay, what was the air quality test result?
The air quality test results did not show that there was asbestos in the air,
Okay,
which is good, because if you have asbestos in the air, you're already too late.
right.
So he said, because we don't use the building as much as we could use the building, that chances are that's why there's no asbestos in the air, because there's not enough people in here to kick it up.
But still, Didn't I remember him saying that really it wasn't a big deal, you don't really need to spend the money to do this at this
He
point?
said if you didn't wanna do it, you didn't have to do it at this point. He did say that.
So why are we doing it?
Because the floors are cracking and chipping, you can walk down the hallway and hear it underneath
So
your
it's a
feet.
personal
It's a,
preference.
it's a safety issue.
It is.
It's a safety issue.
I disagree.
I'm sorry
And
you
I think
disagree.
the other perspective when the board voted on it was, are we just kicking the can down the road and it'll have to be done at a later time, it'll be more expensive? But you raised the budget a lot of money, we're over $1 million now, plus. So, you're just pushing more money on us? We can wait, we certainly can wait and give us a chance to digest what we already have. And I believe it'll come from the,
Capital Reserve Fund.
Can I say that, well, I'm raising my hand as
so
well,
did I.
and I disagree, but this is the select board, and they had actually voted on this in the past, and we're, to talk as if asbestos is not a big deal.
Oh, no, I did not say that.
Okay, to imply, but I don't know, I guess I didn't think it was really for all of us here.
I was asking questions.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other questions about that area?
Yeah, we do.
We don't need to do anything. It's just on here as old business because it's a topic that was discussed, that was voted on, and that's not completed. So anything that goes into new business until it's completed will go into old business unless it's just scratched off the agenda completely. That it's a killed item, basically.
Jeanette?
Yes?
Is there a contract in place? I'm guessing you've got solid pricing for doing all of
Everything
this?
is in place. Yes, it is.
So the only holdup is, what, if they're gonna do it, do we?
Well, they have to schedule us. I mean, they
Okay,
have
so
to-
deposits have been paid and this is a work in process?
Yes.
And what is their estimated completion time?
It's
Are we
going-
looking at the summer, are we looking at fall, or?
It's going to be a few weeks. I mean, they have to get us on their schedule.
I
So then,
understand, yeah.
once they get us on their schedule, it'll be a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks from start to finish.
So to add to that, or to
Thank you.
question a little bit more on that, so what happens to the building though in the process of that? I mean, I know you're in here so many days a week, like how does the building work, because it is asbestos, what happens with the processes in the building?
So they will work on the hallway first. They will take care of the clerk and tax collector area first. So all of that is done. And then they will close off the building right outside the door here, going all the way back.
So you're protected though in that process, like if you're in the building, or you're not in the building when they're doing it?
We will not be in the building when they're actually doing the work in front of the offices there. Once they finish the work in front of the offices, they will close off the building at the hallway outside the door and do the rest of the work in the building.
That they can protect your lungs and whatever from
They-
exposure to any of
It's
that?
closed off. They literally put a barrier up
Seal, yeah.
and yes.
Do they tell you how they're gonna find all the, fiber and stuff when they start ripping? How they clean all that up? Because it's gonna be in the air at that point.
So they do air testing before and they do air testing after. They have to follow the regulations of the Department of Environmental Safety and EPA. So these are contractors who are trained to do the work. They're licensed to do the work. They have reports that they're required to do by all these different state safety agencies. So do I have confidence that they're gonna do their job? Yes.
Did you get 3 bids?
We did not get 3 bids because we aren't required to get 3 bids.
Does this
And the
include,
last time you tried to get 3 bids for something in town, you can't even get people to call you back, let alone get 3 bids.
does this include the bathrooms?
There's no asbestos in the bathrooms.
There isn't. If we were talking about the bathrooms at the last building.
There's no asbestos in the bathrooms.
In the kitchen as well? There is in there, right?
Only in some pipe fittings, and they're doing that work. There's
So the
no
flooring in
asbestos
there
in the
is good?
flooring.
What's the total?
The total for the asbestos and the flooring,
Complete job.
it's about $38,000. Yep.
The library shuts down during this time.
The library will have to shut down during this time.
And are we doing the walls that have the asbestos?
The walls
too,
are not
or
being done. As long as the walls are not drilled into or knocked down or anything like that, they're fine. Because they've all been painted, so they're encapsulated because they're painted. Just like the wall back there. Asbestos.
You go in the library somewhere.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the asbestos in the flooring?
Fully retired?
I know you're working on it through the state, but I also saw something that just came out with NHMA where there's legislation which reverses and takes some of the responsibility back to the state and also the municipalities for paying for the state retirement. I think it just came out today.
There was something that came out, I
Maybe
think it
2
was
weeks
a
ago.
bill to watch. Yeah,
And I'm not sure, has it already happened or is it?
I don't believe it's
Pending.
happened, pending. I think it's pending.
But that would be really good. What happened is a few years ago, the state took what they were requiring municipalities to pay towards the state retirement, and they took their piece away and made municipalities pay more. So if they reverse that even partially, it will be good.
So
So-
when is that coming out?
I've contacted I contacted NHRA regarding that, and she will be sending over information for that.
And you should have gotten something from NHMA about the legislation,
Yeah, yeah.
so that would be.
Well, until we get that, I'd like to table that part until we get more info on that, and for another reason. And I don't mean this in any disrespect, but it's a conflict of interest for Jeanette even setting that up, getting it already, and I was reading on it, and I'm gonna read it, so it's not from me, it's from,
Are you talking about the retirement thing?
yeah, the retirement
I don't,
and
okay, go ahead.
and wages. But it says, conflict of interest has proven difficult for courts and legislation to define in a way that applies in all situations. The particular circumstances and facts of each case must be factored into the determination of whether an official should be disqualified from acting on the matter. However, the general rule is that a conflict of interest requiring disqualification will be found when an official has a direct personal or functionary financial interest in the outcome. That's what's happening here. So I think I'm making a motion that we table that until we can get somebody else to, get the paperwork in and do it right.
So the question is, the official, like the select board, if you were personally benefiting from it, if we voted on it,
But we're not.
then that would have been a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
All Jeanette is doing what the select board directed the town
There's no
administrator
conflict
to
of
do.
interest because I'm not making any decisions, I'm just following out the act that you guys have already voted upon.
No, you guys brought that up, and that's what needs to be done. It is a conflict of interest.
Can
Because
you
it-
describe where you're reading?
Yeah, it's on, page 255 of knowing your territory.
So are they talking, when they talk about officials, or they're talking about, like, the select board would be the
Yes.
officials?
It says official has a direct personal functionary or financial.
That's if I was actually managing the 401k and I was proposing you guys to use my company to manage the 401k. I believe that that's what it's talking about, but I will look in the book and then I would like some time and report back on that in 2 weeks, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I think we should ask NHMA too.
Yes, I will ask. Not a problem. I'll have an answer for you.
Are we tabling that?
Well, it just stays
There
on
wasn't
old
really any
business.
action anyway.
There's
Yes,
no
I
big-
made a motion to table it.
I'll second it. Alright, votes on the table.
Alright,
I'm gonna back up, because this was a decision that was already made, and I don't think we need a motion to table it, we're gonna get clarification on one piece. I don't know that it's an appropriate,
it's the same thing as there should have been somebody else looking this up.
No.
Who's gonna benefit from it? Anybody that's gonna be here full-time is gonna benefit of it, and so that becomes the conflict of interest. And that's what this is saying.
You're not understanding what that book is saying.
Can I say something?
Job on it.
Can I say something? We had her get the information for it, us. She did not have her hand raised to vote on it. She got the research, did the calls for us. That doesn't make it illegal.
and it's not like we're deciding between different, plans. We have the state retirement as the only option. So all Jeanette did on behalf of the select board was
Yeah,
reach
so
out to
that-
get the specifics on it.
And I said that they would have to look at it, but it did, the paperwork didn't come out on the table so we could look at it. Of what the readings, we're just going on hearsay. I need documents.
I'm sorry.
Documents should come
Wait a
out
minute.
on the paper.
We asked about getting a different retirement company or insurance, and it goes through the New Hampshire MA. We weren't going outside and shopping around to all the different, it's a state thing.
And I asked for information from the state, and the state sent me one page, and that was the page with the percentages on it that was put forth. So essentially, and you're the select board, you do what you want, we know this, but essentially, you're not really hurting me, you're hurting people like Adam, who are not going to get retirement, and you're hurting anyone else who he wishes to hire.
I'm not saying it's gonna, I want to see the stuff on it, and it needs to just be done right. I'm not taking away from Adam or anybody else.
The state,
The point, excuse me, the point about it all is that all this came about with, I remember you said, did you, because we didn't even discuss it, did you you said something to the back, and this is my opinion, because I don't remember the exact words, but did you look into retirement? We didn't have no discussion yet.
We had discussion in the budget
Not
process.
prior to you saying that.
We did, and we talked about the costs and how much it would be.
we've been talking about it since last year, when, Ron, who works in Littleton, turned down the job offer because we didn't offer retirement. We talked about it when Gage quit after being here for 3 months and took a job that pays less money because he went to a town that offers retirement.
We didn't even, this is how I say we didn't discuss it, because there were other options as well. 401K is another option. Because right now, until you talked about that paper that we're waiting for, the town is paying 90% of it. And that's not the way it's supposed to work.
The town pays 13.6%, and the employee pays 7+%.
Not according to what I saw on there, unless I misread it. If I misread it wrong, I
That's health
apologize.
insurance, Tom. That's health insurance. The town pays 90% of the employee's health insurance. Like every other town, 90% of the employee's health insurance is paid for by the town. It's called a benefit. And the employee pays the other 10%. Health trust has nothing to do with 401K. I'm sorry, but I really wish that we could get things straight, because what happens is things take twice as long to get things done
And
because
explain it,
people
that's so
don't
I can
understand.
understand it. I don't.
Tom, I've explained some things every which way to Tuesday, and it just doesn't seem to matter. It's
Yes, it does
frustrating, I'm
matter. I'm
sorry.
sorry, I could turn this in, I'm not gonna turn this into some creepy match, it's, something that, let's bring the paperwork out so I can understand it. And then, we'll keep moving forward.
The state only provided certain paperwork until there was a vote, and the select board said yes. When I contacted her, she now said that she will send forward the information for the select board to review and sign. I can't force state agencies to send us documentation. I'm
The other
sorry.
thing about the state, once we're in that, we're locked into that. We can't never get out of it. The 401k is, we can adjust it and make it work for all the employees as well. Because they put in a little bit and the town can match it. That's what I'm saying,
I'm not sure we have that option as a municipality.
Oh, I'm sure we do.
Maybe you can bring information on a 401k plan that the town can sign up for in 2 weeks.
I'll try to look on that. I mean, I can't run, I'll do the best I can.
I go with the 457.
Whatever Tom is proposing.
You want to move on?
You're the chair.
I'm sorry,
Move on
Aaron.
to the oil well. And the police room door.
There's no update for the building maintenance committee. We met today, nothing has been done yet. We're meeting again on April 29th.
So can I just make a couple of comments from the building committee? We had talked about and agreed to see if they would take on the transfer station.
Yeah.
And I think they're still waiting for the information you were gonna provide them, Tom. I don't think we have that, but Kyle was at the building committee meeting, and he said that will really help are, two things. One would be to buy a couple of 20-foot long containers that, what I've heard is they're maybe a couple of $1,000s each. And then also, if we could take the wheels off of the truck bed that he's using, so he wouldn't have to climb up a ladder with materials, it would be a lot safer for him.
And I did look into that, and I, when you were chair, I told you that I can't just go out and buy it without approval from the board. It's gotta be a board decision. So by the time we get back to it, it's gone. It's gotta be one of those things that if we're gonna do it, we gotta get approval prior to the board, so when it's there, you can call, snap your fingers and get it, because everybody's looking for these things for little or nothing. So in other words, for me to do it on my own, I've been working on my own, and that's illegal for me to work on my own.
So I think there's a question, because I think we talked about, do we want to authorize, X number of dollars, and you wanted to just wait until you found something. Were you looking for a truck bed or for a container?
Container, here, truck trail bed. Truck trail bed is gonna be, is probably gonna be the cheapest, and you take the wheels off them. You can buy a container that's out of Littleton, but you're gonna pay a whole lot more money.
But what I heard in the meeting was that Littleton, no, it's not the best place, but you can buy a 20-foot long container for a couple of $1,000s, I think is what we were talking about. Is that number right? Yes. Mike, you were that.
Probably closer to, probably somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000
Yeah,
to buy a used one.
28,000 for.
Did Kyle say 20 foot is enough to suffice?
Yeah.
He prefers 20 footers, because then it's a lot easier to get the stuff out of the front of it, because if it's 40 feet long, you gotta look, it's hard to organize the thing and get stuff in and out of it.
It would need to be put on some type of support, beams or something.
Right.
The same thing with the truck. We also talked about, in terms of the truck bed that's there, taking the wheels and the axles off, but calling somebody like the company that was mentioned, or the person was Wayne Lambert, having somebody with expertise in that, rather than trying to have, a highway crew who isn't used to doing that. I don't want somebody to get hurt doing that.
And they're already overbooked.
I'm sorry?
The highway crew is already overbooked.
Exactly. What did you say, 2,800 a piece for those? Okay. So maybe like 6K. Does anybody have an estimate for how much it would cost to take the wheels taking the axles off of the truck bed and drop it down, they'd have to be jacked up and,
I can ask Wayne. I can ask Wayne.
okay. Is there anybody else that we should get a quote from? Anybody area would do that work?
I don't know anybody else.
Okay.
The other thing, if you are looking for those containers versus track trailers, they do have containers on the, market, on the Facebook. Because they have them there quite often too. And, if they're close enough, it'll be okay from the board. I can net them up if it's cheaper than $2,800.
Excuse me, again, I just want to reiterate, I believe there are two types of containers. One is a single use and one is a repeat use. One's gonna be a lot stronger and more durable than the other, so be careful what you buy, that it is the more durable of the two.
Yeah, because the steel underneath it, it's either solid steel or it's tinny. And if it ain't taken care of right, you walk through within a year or two.
I can find out the price tomorrow.
Okay, for the wheels, and
The,
for containers too?
containers.
Okay. So do we want to wait until next meeting to,
Oh, yeah.
rather than make a motion now? And when we were also talking, we talked that probably the highest priority in terms of looking at pricing would be to look at the bags. To do the analysis of what we're charging for bags and what other towns are charging. So I know you were working on that, Tom, so do you have any information about that?
Yeah, Lancaster was talking, because what we were charging, $2 a bag to get rid of them.
You charge by the roll, small bags and large bags, and it's, what is it, $11 and $17?
Yes.
11 for, and I don't remember how many are in each roll.
10.
And he was saying that we're charging not enough for a bag.
So what does Lancaster charge you?
If my memory serves me, you're talking about $3.50 a bag.
For both sizes?
No, I mean, that's $3.50 a bag when, yeah. No, it's two different, that's for the large ones, I think. I'd have to ask him again.
Is that for the demo? The demo bags, I think, is the ones that you're talking about.
The bags for the
That
household,
goes into the dump,
the household rubbish.
Okay. There's two, we do
Yeah,
charge
$2 a bag for the demo, yeah.
for the black that they bring in.
Yeah.
That goes into the demo.
But I would request you to call him again and ask him to make sure, unless they could have changed by that time,
So you're gonna get that information. I know you were working on it, right?
Well, you took it over, I figured you guys are doing it now.
We didn't take it over. Or, I mean, the building committee didn't take it over, I apologize.
The building committee said they would help and work on it, but you were working on that because I thought you were going to give it,
It's
give
okay,
the information
the
you
way I
had
read it, but anyways.
to the building committee and maybe come to the meeting to.
I will go back and talk with him now. When's your next building meeting?
April 29th at 5:30.
And I don't know what Whitefield and Littleton and other towns are charging for the back either.
I don't think it's so much how much everybody else is charging, I think it's how much we need to break even and not burden the taxpayers. I think that's what we need to be looking at.
And I think we can raise the rates, but that's gonna put a burden on the taxpayers in clothing their trash. And so we have to have that discussion about how much we wanna subsidize the transfer station. but somebody's gonna pay one way or another.
Yes.
What does it cost to run the transfer station on a yearly basis? Everything, the Kyle's salary, what does it cost this town to run the transfer station? If not now, then at the next
Yeah, I know, I've looked at that in the past, I just don't have the numbers, because it's varied from year to year, how much we've ended up subsidizing, it's varied from like
That's why we gotta work,
30,000.
we gotta
Just
work
as
on
you-
a budget, that line item, and that way we'll understand where the money's going.
just,
And
all
what's
right, the
spent.
last 2 years, what was the total cost, whether we what is the total bottom line cost of running the transfer station?
You're looking at anywhere from 25 to 35,000. If you take the income, the revenue, from what the cost is, the cost ranges anywhere from $50,000 to $65,000 a year. And the revenue obviously is different based on what people are getting rid of.
Okay.
If I could just interject one thing, Tom made the comment that our sole purpose should be to adjust it so that we're paying the least. One concern that the town has had, and the problem the town has had in the past and other towns have had, is that when you charge too little in a per bag fee, that people from other towns will start using our transfer station, and we end up subsidizing it more. So in the experience of the town, it's been beneficial for us to set it at least at the rate that other towns have, so that benefit is not there.
Kyle spoke to that tonight.
Yeah.
And he said that he's not aware of anyone from other towns coming to the Dalton transfer station.
Right, but if we let our per bag cost be lower than other towns, that will change.
He can, Kyle owns everybody in town anyway, so and he's gonna know if somebody from outside town coming in. Plus we get stickers for the windshield, you know.
Right, but the thing is, you can buy bags,
They're all saying Dalton on
right, and then they use it to bring it to the transfer station.
I agree with what you said. The other thing to take care of that is everybody's gotta have a sticker, a Dalton sticker. That'll take care of that, either way, I mean.
Kyle was not actually in favor of the stickers
No.
because it's just another responsibility to check every car that's coming in there, and
Right.
sometimes he doesn't even,
You don't
some
have
people
time.
back in, do their stuff and they're gone before he even sees who it was.
It's easy to watch back, look at blue bags, as you throw them in out his window, like he does all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very difficult to be able to keep up track of everything that goes on at the transfer station. I'm one of the operators there.
Well, I'll check with Lancaster, I'll check with Whitefield, see what they have. And, yeah, I can check with Littleton. And I'll bring it, to the, April's meeting there. April 29th.
Or the select board could make a decision on that, even before the building committee.
That's true.
doing that. Dalton taking care of you?
That should be on the what's history.
That hasn't been decided on.
I thought it was decided in the meeting,
In which meeting?
town meeting.
No, it was brought up in the town meeting.
As an issue, but there was not a decision made.
However, I did receive a note from Donna Madonna asking about what's going on with it. Because if the town's not gonna take care of it and insure it, she wants a sign removed. And she wants to, close it off, block it off so that people don't continue to go in there and post a sign saying private property.
Just curious, what do we do, like, I mean, I see where she's coming from, and closing it off makes sense, but how do we handle it as a town, because people are not necessarily gonna abide the sign, they're gonna be down there, I mean, so what, I would assume that becomes our responsibility.
It does not become our responsibility. She would post a sign saying private property, and if are people down there and they're not supposed to be, then she can call the police
She'll
and
call
they
the
could be
police,
arrested.
it's not our
Or Mike
responsibility.
Trudeau could call the police and they could be arrested because he borders that same area. So it becomes not a town issue.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
just making sure that it doesn't fall back on us.
No,
But does the town really want to give up that?
It's a cute little,
I can tell you that I grew up there.
been there historically for a long time.
Back then, it used to be the conservation committee that used to manage it, and I know that for a fact. It used to be mowed, I used to bring my bike down there with Kyle's brother.
So Nancy, you're here, are you the only one from the conservation committee that's here? I just wondered if you had any input on that, like why the conservation committee doesn't do that anymore.
I don't really know.
They signed off on it.
They signed off on it like a year ago or so.
Yeah.
So it's recent, that,
Yeah.
yeah, real recent.
Mm-hmm. And they took the sign down, I believe.
no, the sign
sign's
is
still
up.
there.
Still there? I don't know. I mean, for history, I think about like 10 or 12 years ago, the select board just decided to discontinue it. But it seemed like the sign's there and it's still up in discussion, so the current select board and the select board last year never made a decision to affirm that or to reverse that.
And you put it back to the Conservation Commission, who then came forward and said that they're a small volunteer group and they don't have enough people who can maintain it.
So what would it cost more?
Well, I don't think it's just mowing it. I think it's maintaining it, it's insuring it, it's being liable for it.
Town's always done it for years.
I'm just telling you what she's addressing in her
Oh,
letter.
telling stories. You just move them down.
But if we continue to cover it, it
Yeah,
doesn't
you
change
just
the
move
budget.
them down, right?
Quite a few years ago, yeah. Thanks for pointing that out.
At least 3.
But if the,
I was there to say that it's gotta be, we got town insurance. Oh, so I'm gonna say, I believe that would be included in the town insurance.
Yes,
So that part shouldn't be an issue.
doesn't change the budget.
The mowing wise could be added to the guy that does our mowing. It'd probably be an additional, whatever, it's a small area. I mean, we could create a committee to go down the first time to help them pick up and whatever, that type of thing. Anything that we do is gonna take a little work.
The road here. Right
It's
out
whether,
here,
it's whether or
on the
not
corner,
the town
down
wants
in
it
there.
bad enough.
Yeah.
On Brook?
Yeah.
Adam's
Does
pool.
work need to be done on the road, because it's not a very good, there's not good visibility as you come up here, it's kind of steep and then you're right on that.
There's often people who go down there too and pump water out of the brook for their wells and stuff when it's a really dry spell. Yeah, I've gone down there a number of times and people were down there, filling their tanks because they needed water.
If we give it up, we can't get it back.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying we should give it up or we shouldn't give it up, it's just that once that, it's gone.
Right. With what I hear already, I think that, my opinion, that, we should add the mowing to whoever does the mowing this year. And, maybe we can get a few together to help go and cut the brush back or whatever.
It's pretty much all cleaned up.
It is. And then we
Fellow
can look
that
at
was
what's the
living
smoke.
at Madonna's house.
Yeah.
It's her cousin. He went down there and put all the brush into a pile. And we need to burn it. Ron.
We can arrange that.
There's
That's not a problem.
A big pile, and we probably could add more to it at this point because there's more brush down there.
If we bring a truck down, size won't matter.
I think once we get it cleaned up, then we can see what, maybe some good ledge back on the top, or stiffen that up, where people can get that up and down.
What about security issues? I mean, then what happens if somebody's down there, do you still just call the state police? I mean, because it wouldn't be private property if we're still having public access, so when people are down there, I mean, they can do that no matter what.
Yeah, if you open
Or
it to
you're
the
saying
public,
if you
it's
close
open to
it
the
off,
public.
you mean?
No, if we don't, I mean, so we have it open, but I have do we have a particular, I don't know how we look at security.
I think your biggest thing right now, it would be mostly in the evening for drug users parking down in there.
Nobody's going down there anymore.
No.
No.
But once it's fixed up at night,
When I see people down there, I often walk over and see what they're doing.
I think out your camera and show it to them.
That's right.
It's kind of public, kind of open, it's not a good place to hang out and do drugs.
One summer, all summer long, there was a fellow who would drive down there at least once a week, let his dog out. The dog would go in the water and happy as all get out, yipping and yipping. I was thinking, what is going on with that dog? And he was just playing while the guy was reading a book. And then he would drive out after they were done. It was kind of neat.
Does the town have any kind of a formal agreement with the landowner? Is there anything in the landowner's deed that says it's to be allowed for public use?
I know she
I
put
don't believe so.
something about a rebate on taxes.
It's in the archive, you'd be able to find it.
What's that?
It's archived.
Should be archived in the minutes when I voted in.
How many
Because it's
years
been down
ago?
in college, shit, 10 years ago.
10?
I believe it's
You get
something,
files
I
back
believe
that
it's something
far.
comparable to, like the Whitefield Common. Town of Whitefield does not own that common. The whole stipulation of the Whitefield Common, every year must be an ice rink there. If there will not be an ice rink there, the people that own that will take it back. Might be something in a stipulation like that.
I mean, I'm trying to remember last year, because I know that, you know, there were minutes where the select board said they would not maintain it anymore, but that's like
Yeah,
10 or 15 years
2012,
ago.
I think it was.
2012, yeah.
Those were minutes that
I don't know that if we look back further, I don't think we found an agreement. Did we look?
Does the town want to keep it, or does the town want to get rid of it?
Well, you know, when they were doing the, what is it called, with the planning board, you know, what do people want in the town? That was one of the things, more recreation, more access to the river. You know, so it seems like the town has actually spoken before, saying that they would want it. I mean, this isn't a vote, but that was certainly.
I move that we move forward on it, instead of just
That's a dog. That's a dog. For unloading the boats that you're talking about, you know.
To add it to the
Well,
motion.
that's almost like
I mean, that seems like a concrete step to take.
Yeah, right.
And one thing you might suggest is maybe the people that mow it could also collect any trash when they're, you know, before they mow it. So they don't hit you.
Well, so they have to on the other properties they mow.
It seems like we also need dogs to go down there and clean it up.
Well, Tom mentioned the committee, I think that's a good idea.
So in 2012, the select board wanted or gave it up. The select board can take it back on just as easily,
Well, as long as the owner doesn't mind.
as long as the owner is okay with it.
I guess the first thing is just make sure the owner is still okay with us moving forward, right? Or is she, is the owner, what she's saying?
I called the town hall and spoke to someone that had it come to my attention that lot number 44 was no longer considered to be a Dalton picnic area, which would make this pool for swimming and the picnic area my liability. I requested that if this is so, that the town should be made aware, as they are still using it to get water, bathe dogs, and have children swim in it. I do not want to be the bad guy, but I need a letter from the town to know where I stand. If you're not going to insure it, notify the town residents, so I will have to block it off.
Yeah, so she's open.
She's open to the town using it.
Agreement with her, that's all.
Yeah, there should be something written
Should
on
have
it.
to get rid of lighting.
Just do an agreement.
Yeah, just go back.
Doesn't sound difficult.
It
Well, I
sounds
think
like
the board needs to actually write the agreement. I don't think that the resident writes the agreement. The board needs to write an agreement and then she needs to agree to sign it. I would think that it would be that direction. So someone on the board will need to, well, you'll need to vote, and then someone on the board will have to write that agreement and get it approved by legal, I would assume.